I just want to preface this video by saying that I have no true competitive experience. I have never coached. I just play this game when I'm not in school and I'm not at work. But if you are here, it is because you want to be a better Brig player, and I was once you. I am no longer you. I became the better Brig player, which is why I am going to tell you every single thing that I learned in my climb to top 500 Grandmaster. When I was trying to start and play Brig, I could not find any guides that weren't super old and I felt weird watching them, so I just got in the field and I learned for myself. The conclusion that I came to is that there's nothing simple about playing Brig. Her healing output has direct correlation with how attentive you're being at any given time, and it sounds very obvious to say that, but her whole kit is very gimmicky, so this causes a lot of pressure when trying to multitask. You get thoughts in your head like, oh, I gotta proc Inspire. Oh, this Genji's diving, I gotta pack him. Oh, I need to whip Winston, he's diving. And they're all real thoughts, and it can be overwhelming, but I'll touch more on this later. First thing I want to address is how Brigitte heals. She's able to provide soft healing with her Inspire and direct healing with her packs, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. If you don't understand how Inspire works, the best way for me to explain it to you is with a simple comparison. If you've ever played any RPG game like Baldur's Gate or some other shit like that, if your character throws a acid vial that has a 20-meter diameter splash on the ground that stays there for 5 turns, anyone who steps there in that time will then receive poison for 5 turns. That's how Inspire works, but turns are seconds, and instead of throwing a vial, you have to do damage, which then sends a pulse effect from where you are when you did the damage. But it does not go through walls, doesn't go around corners. Your teammates need to be in direct line of sight from when you do the damage. It does 15 healing per second for 5 seconds, and it gets refreshed every time you proc it when the duration isn't finished. So if you proc it next to a teammate, and then they walk away from you, and then they come back before the 5 seconds is up and you proc again, it's like you never left and they can't bitch at you saying, I need healing. Now, her main way of proccing Inspire is through her whip shot. Because of the fact that you're a brawl hero, your whip becomes a way for you to proc Inspire without putting yourself in direct danger. So you need to hit these whips, and you need to be using them frequently. I used to be around 50 to 60% with my whip shot accuracy when I was in Diamond and Plat, and then I realized I was being overly careless and going for nutty whips. Just don't do that shit. If you hit 75% or more of your whips, you're at your highest value. If you don't hit your whips, your only other option to proc Inspire is getting directly in somebody's face, which is not ideal all the time. So hit your whips. When you're in range to M1 someone, I shouldn't have to say this, but you're also in whip range, so just cooldown dump whenever someone gets close to you. If you're ever in a situation where you're fighting a team and they're close around a corner, and your tank is pushed up next to the corner but not fully committing, just get next to your tank, M1 around the corner, proc Inspire, whip, shield bash, just cooldown dump, and then go back and you proc Inspire 3 different times, wasted time, interrupted the momentum. And if you're in a situation where the enemy team is too far and you can't proc Inspire via your whip shot or M1, your main goal is to find who is closest to you and most out of position, and hopefully get yourself somewhere near them where you can get a whip to proc Inspire and give your team the little push they need to take the space. There are times where you are just simply incapable of doing a large amount of healing because of your kit, and that's what separates great Brigs from alright Brigs. Even in the worst situations, you have to find a way to proc Inspire. Now, to get to her packs, you have 3 packs. They do instant 25 healing and then 50 healing per second for 2 seconds. Pack stacking is very important to keeping your team alive, and managing packs is the part that makes pack stacking so hard to apply effectively in game. Your packs don't ever go over 50 healing a second. If you pack someone twice, they're getting 4 seconds of 50 healing per second. This is why you should rarely be packing your tank. They have way too much HP that you have to heal, and your packs are little healing tickles to them. They are so good for your DPS because 1, they hardly ever need to get more than 2 at a time, and 2, it will enable them to dive without worry, and when they get low, they can retreat for a quick second while you send 2 packs flying, and then bam, they're back in it like nothing ever happened, and hopefully, by that point, they've gotten a kill. Now that we understand how Brigitte heals and what it does, we have to learn how to apply it. So when you're playing Brig, there's one word I want you to keep on repeat in your head all fucking game, and that word is Inspire. always look to inspire. If an opportunity to inspire presents itself, you take it. Fuck what the team has to say. You're not Lucio. Your inspiration does a little less healing per second, and it has a gimmick to it. So you need to get the fuck out there and do some damage so your team can live. But also you have to remember that just because you have so much survivability, you're still a squishy. You're also not an inspire bot, so you can back off, heal with packs for a little bit if that's what the situation requires. In a situation where I have 3 packs, generally I would like to use the first 2 packs when someone is critical and the last one to throw to someone before they get critical. You know, I'm not the only healer, but the way I manage my packs can change depending on a situation, and I know this game has a lot of nuance to it, and it's hard to break down the plethora of varying situations into 4 categories, but I'm going to do just that. I'm going to break it down into 4 categories. First one, when teams are neutral, when teams are mid-fight, when you're getting rolled, and when you're doing the rolling. Neutral is when everyone has full cooldowns, full health, fights just starting, nobody has any type of advantage, and this is typically when you should be in the middle of your team, staying within whip range of the enemies to proc inspire, but also far back enough to pack a DPS and bash on anyone diving. I'll keep all my packs for an emergency situation, like if a soldier is in the back and got a freaky angle onto my Genji who barely escaped, I'll throw them 2 packs and keep the last one just in case they start to get beamed again, or if they refocus onto my healing companion or the other DPS. Notice how I didn't mention the tank. Off rip in a neutral fight, if you're looking to pack your tank, unless they're getting absolutely fucking obliterated and focus fired, you're throwing. I'll say it again, you're not the only healer. Your whole kit's value comes from getting someone out of critical HP and then eliminating their threat. Breaking news, Brigitte is not going to get their tank from critical to max HP and then kill the enemy tank on top of it in a completely neutral, no ult fight. It just doesn't happen. When you're mid-fight, you shouldn't be pack stacking unless they're out of your inspire range or stupidly low HP. Each DPS deserves 1 pack at a time, and so does your healing companion. Your healing needs to be spread out because at this point you should be proccing inspire, and your healing companion should be diverting their attention to the tank and occasionally topping off whoever you pack. If you're in a situation where you're getting rolled, typically it's because your tank died or a DPS died. However, they died is semi-relevant to some more shit that we'll touch on later, but after you suffer a tragic loss on your team, you want to turn tail and dip the fuck out of there and get to the backlines and keep whoever is alive still alive. And at this point you should be spamming packs while whipping to proc and shield bashing to get distance. Now if you're in a situation where you're doing the rolling, it's typically because your team got the first pick and you need to pick a role to stick with. After we get the pick, I'll look to drop all of my packs that I can before going in with our tank, and while I'm fighting with the tank, I'll hold on to my packs to pack them so we can just fucking steamroll. If I'm not rolling with the tank, then I decide to just let them work. I'll turn around and check out what the DPS got going on. If they're in a fight, I'll spam the pack so the other person can't out DPS the healing per second that I'm giving them, and then obviously assist them with the kill. And if I decide to stick with the support, which is very rarely, it's because they're getting super double gulp me fucked by somebody from somewhere and they're on the verge of death. So I'll come and triple pack them and then incinerate whoever is threatening my healing companion. Now, on to how I play and what I do during the game. In every game, I find myself alternating through 4 different modes during the game. First mode is just sitting back, watching the fight from the backline to protect from divers with whips and bashes and using my packs, not too worried about inspiring frequently. Second mode would be brawling up front with my tank, using my shield and whip to enable my tank's kills and advances. This is also the most favorable time for an offensive rally. Third mode is keeping everybody in my LOS, packing, shield bashing to the tank, hit a whip shot to proc inspire, hold my shield, and just jump backwards, retreat, and repeat. This is the bread and butter to my Brig gameplay. And fourth mode is full aggression, fuck the team, secure the pick at all costs, which is the high risk, high reward type of playstyle that will get you to the top 500 shiny rank that you want. I will be switching between these modes pretty frequently during the game, but there are certain situations that I would be in each mode for, right? I'll find myself in the first mode when there's a Tracer, Echo, and Ron, Genji, Pharah, Reaper, Sombra, Vendetta, Mizuki, Doom, Hazard, Winston, Diva, or Ball on the enemy team. If I'm going against any of those characters, I'm banking on them diving frequently to be my vessel to proc Inspire while I let my team cook and my packs work. I'll also be getting into the various hero interactions and a plan of action for each of all the listed heroes. The second mode is when my tank gets a pick or is on the verge of getting a pick and needs that extra boost while the DPS are shooting other people. I'll just slip right in there and usually initiating directly with the other tank with a shield bash M1 whip combo. At that point, they took some good damage and my tank is literally getting healed from me doing it, so then we start to pick up momentum and commence the steamroll. The third mode is where I find myself most frequently. It's really the best for everyone involved. You know, you're getting the focus heals when you need it from the packs, and then the constant soft heals from Inspire, and of course my healing companion. And going back to what I said earlier about mid-fight and neutral fight and all that, this is what you should be doing mid-fight. Your shield bash is phenomenal to escape from sticky situations, but being able to instantly go from focusing on packing your DPS and fending off whatever the enemies are trying to do, to literally on the front lines with your tank, hitting cheeky boops to, of course, you know, boop whoever it is, and proc Inspire, is peak. Because by the time Inspire's finished, you're already able to shield bash and whip to proc Inspire again. Playing like this will maximize Brigitte's kit's potential 10 times out of 10. Now, the fourth mode should be utilized the least because although it is the most fun, if you play like it all game, you're throwing. This is when you have rally and or you see a squishy with more or less 50 HP and you get that look in your eyes like you're about to do something foul, and it's because you are. We haven't really touched on rally yet, so I'll explain a scenario where a squishy is low. You see them low, you check if they're out of position in the slightest. They think you're a bitch because, yeah, it's just Brig, just kill her ass real quick, no problem. Nope. Shield bash, hit that little bunny hop, hold out the shield, drop the shield, hit M1, whip M1, gone. Done. Sent to the afterlife. Then just slide right back into the team and get back to packing like nothing happened. Knowing when it's time to just say fuck everything and full dive is what will make you a fucking lobby administrator. As far as your statistics go, I am a firm believer that you do not need to have a high uptime percentage to have a meaningful impact on the game's outcome. If your Inspire time is 40% and you have 3 packs on your hitball game, then who gives a fuck about what you did? If your Inspire time is 18% and you've had life-saving packs that led to game-changing kills, then we can say, oh wow, this guy's, you know, kind of nice. I've had games where I've had 15% uptime and was sitting back using my packs all game and just whooping the enemy tracer's ass, and there was no complaints. And I've had games where I'm active as fuck, and I'm practically a third DPS, and my Inspire uptime is through the roof, but my whole team is dying around me. That's where the harmony of Brig lies. You cannot be too overzealous because you think you're untouchable. Because you're on a support, there's kind of an underestimation on how lethal you are, and along with Brig's kit having a lot of survivability with her 250 HP mini Rhine shield, the bash, the whip, the boop, it's all great, but you're not invincible, dude. You gotta hit some nice whips, proc that Inspire, and sit your ass with your DPS and let them work. There are some people who hop on support and fully expect to healbot and get carried. That is not you. That is not us. You're too valuable with your heal output and ability to eviscerate DPS. You should have a good amount of mitigated damage from your shield to, you know, protect yourself, but not only yourself. You can also protect squishies on your team. But in the same turn, you should never, ever let your shield get full broken. When your shield is fully broken and you're waiting for it to come back after that long ass 6 seconds, you are by far the easiest person to kill on your team at that time. Your shield fully enables your playstyle, and without it, you're a fucking walking burger. On the other hand, your damage should be a little less or equal to what your DPS have. If you're rocking 5,000 damage with 20% uptime and your DPS has 20k damage with a shit ton of deaths, something is wrong with what you are doing. But if your DPS is fully rolling the enemy team and you hardly need to ever keep uptime and they just need the packs, then, you know, I'd say you're good. Now, when you're retreating with the shield, keep in mind how much HP you have, because if you're full HP and full HP shield, then you essentially have 500 HP. Pull out the shield, eat a little damage, drop the shield, and keep retreating until you're safe, or you get out of the danger, or you get some healing, whatever happens. Now, your shield will also be the key to winning your ones with most DPS. They don't have infinity ammo, so you can engage with them. Hold shield, drop it for a split second, get a melee off, and just keep doing that until they start reloading or running like a bitch, and then you full engage and combo them. Now, to keep on track with Brig's statistics, we can go back to what I said earlier about your whip shot. You need to be consistently hitting your whips. You need to have at least 75% of your whips hitting somebody. If you're wasting whips or saving it for too long, then you are selling the game. When whip is off cooldown, find somebody within the next 5 seconds to hit with it. Doesn't matter if it's a full HP tank, doesn't matter if it's someone running away from the fight, hit the whip, proc Inspire, and see if you can make yourself useful. I think we need to go a little bit more into her whip and her perks. You must select the Inspire lasts 3 seconds longer when activated by whip shot perk. And you are mandated by the US government, the international UN, whatever the fuck it's called, to pick the major perk that does damage when an enemy hits a wall. These 2 perks are going to maximize your healing and your lethality. I won't even mention the other ones because they're essentially useless. I don't think I've ever had a time in my entire life where I was like, huh, damn. I wish I really didn't have longer Inspire uptime from my whip, nor have I ever wanted to do less damage with my whip. I will use the whip mostly to proc Inspire and get damage, and use it to finish me or my team's kills. If you see anybody that's quarter HP and your instant reaction isn't, let me get into whip range and fuck this kid up, then you do not have the Brigitte dog in you. You don't. Obviously, you don't want to full dive in a 5v5 to the enemy team's backlines when soldier is quarter HP and everyone is looking at you. But if an enemy team is overextended and low, you're the cleanup crew. Handle business so your DPS don't have to worry about looking at the little 1 HP freak and they can just redirect target priority. I've mentioned how her whip boops, but I haven't really explained how this is an insane asset to your team. Her whip can shut down the majority of dive interactions before they even begin. And I have said that you should be using your whip damn near whenever you have it. But if you're going against, I guess, a Winston, your whip is going to cancel his whole fucking life. At that point, your whip changes from being a vessel of inspiration to a dive cancel. Because every time you see that monkey staging himself for a jump, you wait until he's feeling strong and independent, and his jump animation is just beginning, and then you smack him backwards into a wall, and now he has to wait until he can even begin to be useful again. Same goes for Diva diving in. Same goes for Ball staging for a slam, Hazard going for a leap, Doom turning to Seismic in or out, fucking lining up a full punch, etc. More on that soon. Now that we've touched on perks, abilities, and situations that you can apply them in, I want to talk about her combos and the techs that she has. Assuming that an enemy is by themselves, complete 1v1, then I'll hold out a shield while they look at me, bash into close distance, hold out shield to eat damage until I bash again, and then engage. Get close to them, holding out shield, drop for a split second, melee, pull up shield, bash, drop, melee, whip, like, just beat the fuck out of them inside that room. And this seems like a long, drawn-out combo, but Brig's interactions with squishies are quick. You can literally obliterate anybody that is around, what, like, under 200 HP, 225 HP, some shit like that. Now, if you're going into a full, fair HP 1v1 without all of your cooldowns to dump, you're probably going to get shit on. And as far as techs go, her shield bash essentially works like a Doom punch. So any Doom lineups that you know from the ground level to get yourself on a high ground will also work on Brig. An example of this would be on Junkertown, first point transitioning to second point. On the right side of the gate, there's a big rotating wheel that you can bash into and spam jump to get into the little square window area above it. And from there, you can boop someone off high ground. That's just one example, and I can say that knowing Brig tech honestly won't make you that much better. Every now and then there's a play that can be made, but it's not like you're going to be consistently using these techs. Her bash is mostly a tool for 1v1s and movement. And little side note here, after you bash, it needs to become muscle memory to hit that little B-hop after the dash, because it looks crazy from the enemy's POV when you shield bash B-hop and then hit a whip and retreat, because it's like, what the fuck, where did this bitch come from? And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the part where by now you should be wondering about hero interactions with Brig and how and who you can take ones with. So I'm going to touch on each role's characters and how they interact with Brig so you can know what to do when they're doing whatever. We'll start off with tank, and I'm going to separate the tanks into 2 groups. Can be fucked with and cannot be fucked with. Now, cannot be fucked with is Mauga, Orisa, and Ramatra. Can be fucked with is every other tank. For Mauga and Orisa and Ramatra. Those are the bane of your existence. Mauga cannot be fucked with because he will shred your shield instantaneously. Or he might just L1 true stomp right on top of your little noggin. You will never in your life win a 1v1 against a Maga unless he is already stupidly low. When facing a Maga, you want to keep the distance, hold on to shield bash to get the fuck out when he starts a true stomp, and just whip him away all game. Just spam whip all game. Every time he tries to do anything, whip, whip, whip. Now, when he inevitably does true stomp onto your team's head, automatically toss each person hit with a pack or two, and try to whip him deeper and farther back into your backlines to get him away from your tank and keep the team separated. Hopefully, your tank will say, fuck the Maga, and now you and him can take off the rest of the squishies of the other team while your DPS and healing companion throw all of their cooldowns to fuck up Maga. Now, Orisa, she cannot be fucked with because she will say fuck your shield and melt it, or javelin spin you into a corner while you're holding out a shield, and you are literally turned into a naked and afraid Brigitte. She has the same plan of action as Maga. If she starts to go in, just worry about proccing Inspire and keeping your DPS alive to hopefully DPS her down in time before she gets a good snowball off. And Ramatra. He cannot be fucked with because that Nemesis form. He will punch through your shield, and when you get the bright idea to whip him and run away, he'll just fucking Chad block and say fuck you, get no knockback, and then trash you. Your plan of action against a Ram is really to play back, look for boops until he goes Nemesis, and full retreat to get as many Inspired procs that you can. Now, instead of really retreating all the time, you can also, when he doesn't have his Nemesis form, just go up to him when he's playing behind the shield, and you can probably whip him a couple times, you know, with your M1 through the shield, cause a little pressure, and then shield bash away. Now, the rest of the tank role can definitely be fucked with by you, and first up is D.Va. D.Va players see you, and they get tunnel vision, and that is very fortunate for you, because you can win that 1v1. If D.Va full dives you and is isolated from heroes, you can most definitely take her down out of mech in that room with just you two. But that's not what's going to happen frequently, because they'll rocket boost out before getting demeched, which is why your plan of action is to set her up to make it look like you're lacking and bait her into diving you. If you see her activate rocket boosters, you whip shot and boop her off course. Throwing her off for even a second is completely worth it. Moral of the story, whip when she boosts and put yourself in semi-compromising positions to bait the dive and then either boop her away, take the fight, bash out, and then she's out of position. Next tank would be Domina, and she was definitely created by Netanyahu himself. I can say he definitely was a big part of his big part of Domina's existence. But he definitely forgot that Brigitte exists, because you can win ones against her. You can definitely win a ones against Domina, very, very sure. I've done that plenty of times. You can eat the first part of her M1 with your body, and then when it gets to the super mega ultra pulse at the end of it, you can pull out the shield and eat the majority of the damage. And when she has no abilities at her disposal, that's when you need to dive in and brawl face to face with your tank. Your plan of action is to brawl with your tank, hope they push up on Domina's shield when she drops it, and you can hit her through it to proc Inspire and keep the steamroller moving. You also want to boop her away from her shield. One example of this would be Dorado on the second point. If they're in the middle of the street and you're on top of the building on the side, looking down on them, Domina drops the shield in the middle of the road. You line yourself up to the side, boop her to the far side of the road, and now she just dropped a shield for no reason, lost her position, and took damage because everybody just beamed her. Now, Doomfist would be up next for the tanks, and he is a lobby administrator. Your whole purpose against him is to shield bash into his punches and stun you both, and if you can't do that because of your position, you want to try to boop him off course from whatever he's trying to do. He wants to fly around a corner in the air and try to line up a punch? No, you don't let that happen. Boop him from under so he goes higher in the air or hits a wall, or boop him from the side to fuck up his aim. He wants to seismic out and retreat? Don't let it happen. Boop him from the side or be there where he's trying to leave to and boop him back to your team. Doom is so strong because he can get in and out all the time. You're the counter swap. You're the one that can actually do something about it. Now Hazard. He is essentially the same thing as Doom. You don't want to take him one-on-one, but he can still be fucked with because he should never be able to leap, because guess what you're going to do? You're going to boop him out of midair. Same shit as Doomfist. He thrives from getting in there, getting a pick, and getting the fuck out. Be the reason he can't get in. And if he's already in, be the reason he can't get out. Brigitte is so good at keeping enemies who dove in too hard in the center of her team. If you can, isolate someone who's trying to leave so bad and make it so they just can't. Because whoever you're whipping, bashing, pinning them, yes, ping them, because you want to ping them, because whoever threatens your team, your DPS can realize, turn around, lock the fuck in, eliminate the threat. Now up next is Junker Queen. She seems like she would be on the cannot fuck with list, but she's not, and it's because you can get in her face and literally beat the shit out of her. When she pulls out that big ass sword to slice you in half, boop her back or shield bash and retreat out of range. If she sticks you with the knife and pulls you, guess what? Jonathan Overwatch already thought that through for you. And all you have to do is turn around and bash. Fully counters the pull. So literally just, this Junker Queen's a bitch. You can do whatever you want to her all game. Now Reinhardt is a different story. You really won't ever win that 1v1 because he is essentially you, but larger and more lethal. Your kits mirror each other and you can cancel his pin with your bash. You can whip him off course of his pin, and you can hit through his shield. Playing against Rein, sometimes they'll be so scared when your tank is in their face and you're in their face too, hitting them through their shield, that they'll just fully retreat or stiffen up and fold under pressure. You shouldn't be getting hammered down, considering that you have a shield, literally, that you can just eat the hammer. So if you sense a hammer coming, you hold shield and wait for it to come. When it inevitably comes, you should be the only one standing against the enemy team because you ate the ult, and then you want to see who he is looking to pin. Getting over there and bashing head on into his pin to cancel it. You can cancel it at any time. If Rein pinned your teammate and is dragging them with him, you can bash him while he's still moving with them. Your teammate will be freed. You and Rein will be out of the equation for a second. And then you can just get back to regular scheduled Brig programming. Just go back to your fucking packing and Inspire. Just right back into it. Like nothing ever happened. Now next up is Roadhog. You will also never win this 1v1. Roadhog is an interesting story because he can be fucked with, but he also counters you, if that makes sense. You will want to bait him by holding out your shield and then pulling it out last second to bait the hook, make him miss it. Now if he misses the hook, he turns into a big fat bitch with a billion HP who can be bashed and whipped at your will. A hookless hog is an inspiration farm. You should be looking to make this hog's life a living hell. They get super confident that they'll never die, but you just have to keep chasing him and doing damage. In the event that you do get hooked, you're most likely dead. However, you can hold your M2 and get your shield out while you're in his face, which if he's ass might make him miss the hook combo, but more importantly, you'll delay getting picked off, which gives your team more time to dump more damage into Hog while he's tunnel vision on you and not using Rebreather. And next would be Sigma. Situationally, you can win this 1v1. A close-up battle against the Sigma is favored towards you, but at a distance like medium to long, he's got you because his shield counters your whip and your shield, and it's really fucking annoying. In a team fight, you're probably going to be the only person who can damage him through his little sucky, and that's your duty. Because while he's sucky, he's getting healed from his supports, and we do not like that. So cancel out the heals with your damage, and then after sucky, he's vulnerable to everybody on your team. Sigma's M1 is very dangerous for you at distance because he can shoot around your shield, so your plan of action would be to close the distance, eat the rock with the shield, fucking fuck him through the sucky, and brawl in his face. Now for Winston, most likely you will not be winning this 1v1. He will shoot through your shield, but that's only if he has a jump to dive, and guess what? You have a whip. Therefore, he should not be getting value from jump onto you. Just toss him away. You see a big monkey flying in the air and you have a boop in your back pocket. What else are you going to do? Like, that's your only option. Just L1 him. He's done. No problem. And your plan of action should be to do that all game. Because when he gets active, then you're starting to get in trouble. Your team's going to get all discombobulated, dove on, like you're going to get fucked up. Just keep booping the Winston. And now we're going more into dive with Ball. Personally, I love going against Ball. As a Brig player, you should love it too, because he's a free Inspire proc for you. And Ball players spend 99% of the game trying to fuck with the backline, which is why you're on the team. Same idea as Winston. Try to boop him while he's staging dives. Your whip is going to be a direct counter to him sliding in on your team. If he goes orange, you go boop. Simple. If he's about to fly into you, bash him back, and look to damage him and make him feel like he needs to get the fuck out of there and find a heal pack. If he dives and he's low, you have to hawk him down. You can typically bash B-hop to catch up to him after he speeds away and hit a whip to finish him off with a boop. Or you could boop him a little bit farther, off course from the health pack. You know, you got a couple options there. But you want to hawk him down. You got to get his ass. You got to fucking murk that ball. You can't let him keep fucking up the team. Now, for Zarya. Zarya seems like the ultimate unfuckwithable tank against Brig. But I'm here to tell you, she's not. You can't proc Inspire if you hit her bubble, so you gotta time the whips for when she feels like she doesn't need to bubble and for when she doesn't have a bubble. Zarya gameplay is super linear. Advance, bubble to eat and get charge, and melt whoever's on the screen. In the linear gameplay, there are gaps where she's not going to want to use a bubble. You find the gaps, slip a whip into there, boop her back, proc Inspire. Now the Zarya feels like she has some balls. Guess what? She has no leg to stand on, walks forward into the team, drop everything you're doing, brawl with the tank against her, break the bubble, like, just fuck her up. Your whip boop is going to be super strong against her because her only mobility comes from her secondary fire. And if they pick this self knockback perk, you're going to be able to boop her out of the air and she'll be pushed back even farther. If you can make a Zarya feel like she has no opening because whenever she's not bubbled, she's whipped and booped back, and whenever she is bubbled, she's getting brawled through her bubbles, then you're probably going to force a swap. And for the rest of the characters in the game, there is a rule with Brig. If they are below 225 HP, and they are a character in this video game, they are a victim. They are the characters that you want to catch lacking. And earlier I mentioned a few DPS by name, and I said that I'd touch on them later. Well, now is later. First up is Tracer. Tracer will 1,000,000% be able to make your life a living hell and make you want to break everything that you own if you let her, but I'm going to tell you how to not let this happen. Tracers like to pick on supports, and you like to pick on squishies. She's your mortal enemy. If you want to kill a Tracer, you need to keep track of her blinks while holding out your shield until she's low on blinks. After she's shooting you, wait for the blink to get off cooldown, then blinking and shooting you again, and you need to find a way to sneak a whip or a bash or one of your cooldowns in there, and then you hit that, they'll use recall, and you need to activate fucking termination protocol. Get aggressive instantly, because now the fun begins. You want to hit her with everything you got after the recall. Try to hit another bash, and after you wait for the blink, line up the whip, bam, Tracer down. Fuck you, kid. Now Echo. Echo is a problem for Brig because she likes to fly in the air and then swoop down for cooldown dump kills. I hate the way Echoes play. Personally, I hate it. I can't stand it. But you can very much be a victim of this, gameplay style, I guess. But you're not gonna be. Because you're a Chad, and I have full belief that you are going to whip shot that bitch while she's in the air to deter her from even wanting to fly down into your face at any time. If she does get you low though, and she does swoop in, hold out the shield, block the stickies with the shield, drop the shield so the stickies fall on the ground, turn around, bash right into the middle of your team, and now you're no longer lacking. You got the whole gang around you, bro. You good. Now, if you see this Echo on the ground, she will be your victim. Hit her ass with the Brig special combo and watch that bitch melt. Now, Enron is very good at getting in people's faces, setting them on fire, and getting out. She's also a cooldown dump DPS. Keeping that in mind, she likes to engage with her first fire dash ability, whatever the fuck it's called, and then go right into the one that she disappears and back into another fire dash. So where does Brig fit into all this? Right after she dives in with the first fire dash, look to who she's going for. Shoot out a pack, wait for her to activate the one where she disappears, and then when that ability is over, she's at her most vulnerable. You need to hit a whip and a shield bash instantly, as soon as she gets out of that form. That is automatically like 100 damage that you just did to her. If the rest of your team can't clean that up, they are fucking terrible. Now, Genji players are super predictable. They like to target whoever is by themselves, so keep that in mind. whoever is straying from the pack might need, you to slide over there and give him a couple packs when Genji slides over there. But if Genji dives you, your plan is very simple. Eat the dash because it's unavoidable damage, pull out the shield, and look for a whip. After a whip, they start to get scared. They're going to hit a deflect, and they done fucked up. After the deflect, you hit a shield bash, which will stop their movement for a little bit, and then it damages through the deflect, so you just spam M1s right after the deflect is done, and just take his ass out. When he dashes away after the deflect, he's low as fuck, he's still vulnerable, he just traveled a little bit further, so look for a whip to finish the kill. Little L1, finished. Now Pharah. Pharah directly counters you. There is not any way around it. You need to play out of her line of sight, maybe even like inside of a building, and look at whoever she's targeting because you're going to pack them through their whole engagement. If Pharah starts to shoot you while you're in the open, immediately look up to see if she's in whip range. If she is, whip. If she isn't, shield bash to cover, and then look to heal your team. If she decides, fuck it, this Brig is low, let me go in this building, let me try to finish this bitch, just be close next to the entrance and hit her with the Brig special, bruh. There's no problem. Just whoop her ass. Now with Reaper, your entire game plan will be to stop the TP. He's going to TP into your whole team, and we know if he gets close to the face, then you're fucked. I mean, good news is, though, shield bash. As soon as you see that TP marker near you, you are presented with two options. Number one, shield bash away. He won't want to target you anymore, and you can pack whoever he redirects to and then boop him away. And number two, instantly bash, whip him the second his teleport is complete, and take the chance that you might be able to do enough damage to scare him away or boop him away far enough to make his TP useless. Moving on to Sombra. Sombra is essentially Tracer when it comes to terms of how you want to handle her. When she's out of invisibility, you want to close the distance and get in her face and erase her. If she's on top of somewhere, just being a little bitch and shooting you from mad far away, try and hit a whip before you bash away. You can really only engage her when she's getting overzealous and up in your face. The hack is also kind of a bit of concern because it takes away your entire kit and you have no way to damage somebody that isn't farther than 5 meters from you. But it's not as bad as you think because you can always drop off as many packs as you can and then just retreat out of her LOS. If you do manage to get a Sombra low though, and then she tosses a little translocator in the air, starts going invisible, there's no shame in bash B hopping to where she threw that locator and trying to find her. Because who knows? You might hit the whip. Everyone wants to see those sick-ass invisible Sombra whips. I want to see that shit. Now, next is Vendetta, and Vendetta is a powerhouse. She will fuck you and not even think about it ever again. She does true damage to you with everything in her kit, so you need to play like a pussy when she's around. Vendettas will fly in the air, kind of like Doomfist. They like their little rollouts, so they'll be sitting there on roofs and shit waiting for that little overhead to come down and just fuck up whoever's near them. But you need to be looking for the boops. You need to look for the whips. You need to look in the air. You need to see, oh shit, there's a Vendetta right there. Boop! Gone. Done. Don't even have to worry about it. She just fucked up the whole engagement because she doesn't have the overhead slash anymore. It's over. And let's not act like we can win a 1v1 against her. Vendetta is gonna literally destroy you, bro. Like, it's obscene. There's nothing you can do against a Vendetta. So just don't engage with her. Let everybody else handle her and keep whipping her when you can. And for the first support mention, I did feel like it had to be Mizuki, because in all the games that I have played, I haven't had any issues with any other support direct countering me. But when I ran into a Mizuki, they were fucking owning my little punk ass. Mizukis like to use the paper doll to go for brief little engagements where they can dump damage into your shield or snare you and then TP back to safety. These paper doll engagements are something you have to shut down before they get too crazy. When you see him full diving you, know that he's on a time limit and he cannot full commit. So just look for a boop, hold your shield, when it gets low, turn around, bash B hop to safety, get back to inspiring. If Mizuki lands a snare on you, you're going to be naked and afraid once again, right in the open, while everybody on the enemy team blasts through your shield and your HP, so always look to bait the snare the same way you would bait a Roadhog hook. And now, I feel it is time to bring up Rally. Rally, to me, I love Rally. This stun is game changing. It's a huge ult with great offensive and defensive capabilities. The way that you charge your ult is mostly with Inspire uptime and packing people, but this is not Marvel Rivals. Support ults do not run the game. So as soon as you get Rally, you should be looking for any way to either get value in the team fight you gained it in, or the team fight right after. Holding Rally is stupid, and you can't look for the perfect moment all the time. If you can rally and secure at least one pick by yourself, it's a worth it ult. Brig shield gets a lot bigger, gives her team 30 overhealth per second, up to 100 overhealth, gives Brig an extra 100 HP, and gives you a 0.75 second stun. This essentially makes your team feel like they can dive anybody without dying, which is why I prefer to use rallies as an offensive snowball tool. For me, a good offensive rally will start off with me engaging a DPS or support, getting them low with the Brig special, and then hitting the rally, finishing the kill with my stun bash. You should never use rally if your shield bash is already available, because as soon as you pop rally, you get the shield bash cooldown back instantly. This will allow to use like a combo extender. You can use the rally like a combo extender to finish somebody that's on the verge of death. And staging a good rally typically involves seeing somebody low and vulnerable. Does not matter where they are in relation to anything, just as long as they're low, they can be a victim. You see that they're low, try to finish them or disrupt the healing process with your normal cooldowns that you have, and then hit a bash B-hop close to them, pop rally, stun bash, then Brig special. Now you got a 3k, and everybody in the GM lobby is sucking your dick. Now a good defensive rally is more nuanced, because you need to know the HP of everybody on the team and the enemy ult bank. If everybody's overly low, just send out all the packs, pop the rally, and stun bash whoever's going apeshit on your teammate. On a defensive rally, you're not looking for kills as much. You're looking to sustain your team's life and use your kit as a support like it's intended, not a damage, even though it's fun to be damaged. Good example of this, very good example of this would be if your whole team gets Rhine stunned, like they're fucking hammered down, whole team's fucked. What are you gonna do? Well, obviously, you're Brig, so you're the only one standing because you blocked the ult with your shield because you're a fucking demon. So now you throw out packs, push up, pop rally, stun bash, boop Rhine. Now your team is standing and you still have 8 seconds left on rally and you got the push you needed to win the fight. And her rally can be used defensively to cancel out big ults from other people, enemies. If you know the Genji has a blade and Ana is still alive and you have rally, this is another two choices here. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna wait for him to pop nano blade and then rally, or are you gonna full dive the Ana, double shield bash, B hop into that shit, and completely fuck the Ana before the problem even starts? Both answers are correct. It's based on the stage of the fight. If you're trying to protect an overtime cap, you're probably better off full diving the Ana and taking the nano blade completely out of the game. But if you're on attack, pushing the payload, you're going to want to wait for the enemies to use ult to pop your rally, and then stun bash whip the Genji into wall after he nanoblades. Completely fuck his ass up. Now, that's a lot of information. I did really just sit here for about 43 minutes just talking about Brig gameplay. I'm not really sure if I missed anything. I feel like I covered like all the, I've covered all the bases, you feel me? If there's any questions, if there's anything that I miss, if you feel like I'm wrong about anything, let me know. Like I feel like I'm giving out good tips here. Let me know how y'all feel. Peace.